So spiritually, before I came to college, I would say that I was a Christian atheist. I knew of Christ and I went to church, but I lived like he didn't exist. I grew up in a church, sang in a choir, was an usher, went to vacation Bible school, Sunday school, everything, you name it. But ultimately, I don't think Christ was my focus and necessarily not the center of my life. And before I came to college, I would say that I was coming into college with the motivation of fishing for everything but God. And I would say after becoming involved with the impact movement, I became a fisherman for God. I think the pivotal moment would have been junior year. I was trying to do a little bit of everything. I was in ROTC, I was a leader, student leader within the impact movement. I was president of Voice of Testimony Gospel Choir. I was taking like 19, I think I dropped to like 17 credit hours. And it came to a point where I was talking to God. I actually went downtown Kent into like the little gazebo and I had to pray to God. I was like, God, look, if you want me to live for you, then I'm gonna need you to make things easier. Because I told him right now, I feel like this certain group or this thing is my God instead of you. So if you are calling me to serve you, if you're calling me to go hard from you, I need you to either make this thing easier or I need you to remove it so I can serve you fully. And long story short, I actually dropped some classes. I was removed from ROTC due to an injury. So they were really good about it. They didn't punish me for it. It was something I couldn't prevent, so I didn't have to actually pay that money back. It wasn't charged against me. And taking some classes off my list that I didn't really need in order to graduate into my major, my focus kind of changed. So I came in here with the focus actually to get into the FBI, and I was gonna be an FBI agent and a lawyer, and I ended up leaving with the focus of staying here actually, in this area at the church I was at, and my goal eventually became to glorify God with all I do. So I try to live out 1 Corinthians 10:31. That's when I actually realized my calling to shepherd, to become a pastor, and that's when I kind of doing that full force, or living with that in mind as I went to work and did my jobs, and I was more focused on how I could glorify God in every avenue instead of what's gonna bring me the most money or what's gonna bring me the most success or what's gonna make me the most popular. Okay, so impact greatly influenced my shape of what the gospel is and how it is viewed, because I got a great understanding of what the gospel was. A lot of times we grow up in church and it's not any one particular person's fault, but I think sometimes that gets glossed over. And as you grow up through Sunday school, church, and all these other things, it's just assumed you know what the gospel is, you understand the gospel, but we really don't delve into, okay, what's the purposes, what's the gospel, what's the four spiritual laws, why did God create us, why do we need the gospel, what was the importance of Calvary? You really don't get that. So being a part of Impact helped me see the importance of that. It's just about the gospel, about God revealing himself through his son, Jesus Christ. Well, that was never my understanding, or I never really had a full grasp of the understanding until I came to college and was involved with the Impact movement. So being an ambassador is being a student leader who graduated and still decided to stay around in the area and help serve with the Impact after graduation. And my experience with an ambassador has helped challenge me to grow deeper in my faith. It's funny, like I said, I really originally didn't come on campus to be on fire for God. I literally was fishing for everything but God, but I literally became a fisher of men for God. And it's funny how God's used me to become involved in other men's life and disciple other men, from men who aren't even from this country. So I'm making connections and establishing relationships with people that I never would have spoken to outside of Impact or outside of the gospel. So being an ambassador, I think, has changed my walk because it's helped me to live more accountable, because I don't want to tell someone about Christ and push someone to the standard that I'm not adhering to at myself. So it pushes it back on me as before I want to put this on anyone, let me make sure I'm living this myself. And it also helps me to live with more grace because I've been in their shoes, so I know how hard it is, especially being a college student, the temptations, the doubts, the depression, the anxiety, the nervousness that comes your way with just being a college student. So it helps me to operate in a more loving way, because I've been there before and I've done that and I made it on the other side. So to come back and help people out and pull them so they can come to the other side and then help other people just keeps the revolving door of discipleship. So it's always reach one, teach one, and it never stops.